middle class or middle class these days, we have hindered or handicapped many of our grown kids because we didn't allow them to go through and experience things to develop a trait or a character within them. Do you hear what I'm saying today? God is always developing. That wasn't my message today, but I just felt like I just needed to tell you that. I'm going to jump very quickly into our message. We've been talking over the last several weeks about the evidence. The evidence is in the fruit. We got a nice tree that we put up that showed you all of the fruit of the Spirit. And I said for a subtitle, what's on your tree? And so we began to talk about the fruit of the Spirit coming from Galatians, the 5th chapter, the 22nd to the 23rd verse. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such there is no law. And so we've been studying the fruit of the Spirit, all 9 of the fruit that comes from the Spirit of God. I have stated to you over and over again, I'm tired of people saying that they're born again, saying that they're Christian, saying that they speak in tongues, saying that they do all of these things, but they lack the evidence. You know, speaking in tongues and jumping up and shouting and everything else and saying all of that stuff is nothing if you don't demonstrate or show the evidence of the Spirit of God living down on the inside of you and also being manifest in the things that you do and or the conduct that you have. And so we have taken the time to go through each and every last one of these fruits that comes from the Spirit of God. Let me tell you something. Satan can mimic a whole lot of things, and he can get you to say and do a lot of things for a while. But the fruit of the Spirit of God is the character, the evidence of God's Spirit is taking control, or God's Spirit leading you and guiding you or filling you up each and every day of how to live and to walk this life out as a Christian. Many of us, we can fake it for a while. But if the Spirit of God is truly down on the inside of us, if the Spirit of God is really being manifest in us and through us, then you know what? It becomes a way of living. It becomes a way of living. It becomes a way of living. It's not just sporadic. It's not just, when I feel like it. It becomes the way you live each and every day. God's Spirit coming through you. Amen? I'm tired of people saying, that they are Christians, but they lack the evidence of it. They lack the evidence of it. And so we started on last week in walking through each one of these. And I told you that this probably is going to be my first book because I'd have done so much writing on it and so much teaching. And so I'm testing it out on you first. I'm testing it on you first. And so we started working with love. And as I stated last week, not to go into all of the details, but just to bring you up so that we can get finished with the fruit of love. We stated that the Greek have many words, for love. We stated is really, when you look at it, they have roughly about 8 words, but the Bible only deals with 4 of them. And those are the 4 that I'm dealing with, but I'm going to zero in upon one because this is the one that God used when he deals with us in love. We said first we have what is called eros, which is a sensual, sexual love that spouses is supposed to have amongst themselves. Then we said philia, which is a strong friendship, a brotherly type love. Then we stated that storge, which is a family love and bond. now we're zeroing in on the main one that I really want to talk about, and that is agape. This is a selfless, sacrificial, unconditional love, and this is how God operates. It is a part of his attribute and his character, and he expects for us to operate the same way in this type of love. It is calling us to a higher way of loving. Not just loving in a sensual way, not just loving in a brotherly way, but calling us to a higher way of living and loving. And this is where I believe many of us that say that we are Christians are coming up short. Because we love based upon conditions. You love me, I love you back. You treat me right, I'll treat you right. You go twist it on me, I'm going to go twist it on you. And God never expects for us to love that way. And so I want to deal with agape type love. This unconditional, this selfless, sacrificial type of love. Yes, husband and wives, we're supposed to love each other in a sensual way, but we also need to love each other in a sacrificial way. Wow. And that is almost unheard of these days, even in marriage. You see, so many people in marriage is still selfish. Not selfless, but selfish. They are only concerned about them. It's unimaginable to me for a husband and a wife not to be concerned about one another and sacrifice for each other's well-being. But we are living in a society, even as people, as Christians today, they seem to forget that we're supposed to sacrifice for one another. Even in marriage, I give up certain things or I sacrifice things for that lady's well-being. Do you hear me? You know, it's when you're really loving in an agape way, you think of the other person first. I'm going to try to teach this, but I feel preaching coming on because y'all looking at me like deer in headlights. Because God he's calling us to a higher way of living. By this, people will know that you truly, you say what you're confessing and you're living it. You're living it. So it kind of points to several different things that I want to really emphasize today. And I'm going to hit these very quickly and get you out of here. And I want to start with, when we talk about agape type love, it is God. It's who he is. God is love. I want you to understand now, because I don't want you to get this twisted. Listen to me very carefully, because I have heard people twist this thing around, and I don't like it. I have heard people say love is God. That is not true. That is not true. Watch your words. Watch your words. But God is love. There's a big difference. And I can't get into all of the nuances. I wrote something up that got into all of the nuances of that. Because when people begin to talk about, things being God, then they're creating a whole nother type of religion. God, they'll make anything out of a God. And that's not what we're saying here. We're saying God is love. So what does that really mean? Love is an essential part of God. Love is a part of God's character and God's attribute. Love is essential. It is an essential part of God. So I want to read 1 John. I hope you all can bring it up. 1 John 3, 16 through 18. Is it okay if I take my time and walk you through this? 1 John 3, 16 through 18. Now I'm going to read it in the King James. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to read it in the NIV.